I feel you really need to look at it. The new magazines are out. Thank you, Leslie, for that. Always beats the deadlines, in spite of some of us who get it in a little bit late. I'm looking at no people in particular. So thank you, Leslie, for a lovely magazine. So if you don't get it online, there are 1 or 2 copies around, and there are some envelopes, possibly with your name on, if that's how you usually get them. On the notice sheet, there's a lovely tribute and a mention that the Reverend Tony Jones died on Thursday. Most people, everybody who knew him will remember what a lovely man in every way, and what a great leader of worship and preacher he was. And he was always welcome here, and he loved coming here. And there's a nice little word of tribute on the back of our notice sheet today. I guess we'll hear more about funeral details fairly soon. Chris asked me to remind you that next week we didn't have a problem when it was St. George's Day parade, when we can sometimes have difficulty getting access to the church, but there will be difficulty next Sunday because High Street will be closed from 9:30. Now, whilst I know a bit more about Grantham than when we first moved here, I think you're going to have to jiggle your way around one way or the other via Wharf Road. And anyway, I'm sure you'll be able to land here next week safe and sound. But that's for next Sunday, just a word of warning that you may not have access in the usual way. But to travel hopefully is better than to arrive? No, you better make sure you arrive, next week. So I think that's about all I need to say. As I say, there's a lot in the notices. Do make sure you take a notice sheet with you. But it's my pleasure to welcome Marion Hingley-Hickson, who comes to us from her church in Bottisford, and one of the Methodist local preachers on our plan. So it's lovely to welcome you again, Marion. Just a moment or two of stillness as we prepare our hearts and minds to worship. Thank you. And just as I've asked you to prepare your hearts and minds, I should also tell you there's no Saturday coffee morning next week. So please tell anybody who normally don't come to church but come to that. If you're able to tell them, please say that. Thank you, Marion. Sorry about that.
Our call to worshiping is taken from Psalm 100. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his people, the sheep of his pasture. It's really lovely to be here this morning. I can't quite remember when I was last on the plan here. Somebody might go, well, I know it was that particular Sunday, but I think it was pre-COVID, and it might have been this Sunday in 2019. I certainly think I was here talking about sheep some time ago. So anyway, I'm here today, and it's really lovely. And although I do now worship with the Bottisford community, I always feel like I'm coming home when I come here, and I think I often say that. I grew up in the at that time, very active junior church that was here some years ago now. Some of you will remember. So we're going to begin our worship this morning with a hymn that is more usual for a communion service, and you'll see from the words why that is. But it's talking about sharing bread, and later in our service we will be thinking about the importance of hospitality and sharing bread. And I felt that these words were just spot on for what we needed to start with today. So, I come with joy, a child of God, number 588.